What's up guys, it's Bo here again, and in this entry, right, I'm all dressed up, right? Why am I dressed up? That ain't important, right? This entry, I wanted to take a very important opportunity. One of the reasons why I'm dressed up is actually because I haven't had the best of days today, right? And I'm actually feeling a bit angry, right? And I was tempted, I had in mind to do this entry, but I was tempted to actually make this a Lego Mobo session. But in those videos, the Lego Mobo videos, which I haven't done for a while, they tend to be more on the positive side of things, right? Most of my videos tend to be on the positive side of things, right? I'm really, well, I can get a bit edgy at times, but the reason I'm not going to make this into a Lego Movie session is for that reason, it's not necessarily positive what I'm going to say, right? So I want to take the opportunity in this entry to talk about, well, to express really, basically the anger that I have right now, because I thought about it, just based on how angry I was feeling today, that it might be a valuable thing to show to people, right? So just let me start off with a bit of a disclaimer, if you're someone who's easily offended or easily frightened, or just you're not really here to kind of watch someone shout in your face, because that's basically what I'm going to do in a minute, then I would advise that you click off this video, and as soon as I say that, people are going to be sticking around to see what what kind of reaction I have, because they're like that, right? Curiosity killed the cat. But yes, I'm warning you, if you don't really want to watch that kind of negativity in someone, then click away from the video, because there's more cute things to watch for you, or you can watch my other videos which are more positive in tone. But okay, so in this video, I want to talk about basically, well, I had wanted to do an entry about this, and I'm going to do an entry about this, but the pitfalls of the human mind, right? Because we live in a society, and all of my videos have this pervasive theme that talks about basically how we're stuck on our heads, we need to become more sensitive, right? And really, on a real life level, right? On a real life level, this is very real, right? The suppression of our feelings in favor for our minds. You could say this kind of, it's not just our individual minds, because our individual minds are very impressionable, right? And our minds are very much kind of shaped by the collective mind, or the social kind of, consciousness. I don't like using that word because, it's very kind of vague at times in this context. But yeah, so there's this kind of social narrative, you could say, and we're all kind of feeding into it, whether we are aware of it or not. But so this is very real, right? And I have been feeling it in my own life. You can probably feel my anger kind of rising. I'm gonna ease into it, but yeah. So basically, we live our lives, right? We live our lives from the day we were born, pretty much, until adulthood, and all throughout our lives. Traditionally, this has been the case for decades, right? But we do this, and we basically default, we kind of defer all of our life decisions to the mind, right? And as I've said in previous entries, I have nothing in particular with a head-based society, we can see the fruits of it, but it has come to a point where it is just not working anymore, because it has become a head-dominated society, whereby we have become disconnected from the essence of who we truly are, which is flesh and blood and, flaming emotion, right? passionate emotion, right? So today, you know, I had a shit day basically, you know, shit went wrong. But it goes deeper than that, because I have been feeling the suppression, you know. Like, I've been feeling this kind of background feeling of depression, despair, meaninglessness. And, you know, in my previous videos, I've tried to kind of, it's almost like I'm trying to talk myself out of it, you know, by engaging the mind. But guess what? I'm sitting here today and I'm feeling angry as fuck. Because, once again, you know, I feel myself feeling trapped, you know. I feel myself feeling trapped. And, you know, it got to a point today where I was like, fuck it! Right? I was like, fuck it! Because nothing is going right now. Nothing is going right now. I do not feel okay right now. You know? I've been trying to make myself think that I feel okay. But you know what? Today, I'm not feeling fucking okay, right? And in fact, I am fucking livid right now, right? Or, well, I was more livid before, but like, I'm still livid, right? And it's like, motherfucker. It's like, why am I doing this? Right, that's what I started asking myself. Because, you know, like in my other videos, you've seen my message, which is to pursue a life of freedom. And in those videos I say, you know, that we must do that because it is a better paradigm, from my point of view, than living a life of, you know, servitude to, like, the social narrative, basically. But it's like, today I was like, fuck it. Nothing is fucking working out. It's just another fucking story that the mind is telling me that it's gonna work out, you know? It's like I graduated from, like, unconscious thinking that was fed into my mind, like, from, like, fucking early age, right? Only for the mind to then sweet talk me into another paradigm of like, oh, maybe a life of freedom will help you out. Maybe you should do this. But then, okay, so you feed into that, right? You let yourself get roped into that, you know, because it feels good, you know. The message that I give to you guys in these videos, it feels good, right? You know, you can live any life you want, you can express yourself. It feels good, you know, it resonates with your heart, if you will, with your essence, right? With your spirit. And so you follow that path, right? You follow that path and you're met with roadblocks, right? You try and talk yourself into feeling, like, into basically believing that, you know, oh, it's all for the greater good, right? So you do that shit. You know, you keep pushing on, and you keep pushing on, and you do all of this work on yourself, you know, and you sacrifice all of these things, right? You sacrifice the friends that you had, you sacrifice relationships that you had, you know, with friends and your family. You change all of your ideas such that, you know, you become even more of a fucking weirdo, of a fucking outcast than you ever were, like, before. And you were kind of an outcast back then, right? So you do all this shit, and all the while the mind is trying to tell you that, like, oh, it's going to be okay, but you can't do this, you know? You can do this, right? But you can't do this, you know? You can't be angry, you know? You can't, if you want to do something, you can't necessarily do it because you still have to follow the established pattern, the established paradigm that we have in society. You still have to play the game by the fucking rules, right? And, like, I was just like, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Like, today, like, it's like, you know, there's a point when, like, you just feel like you've been telling yourself the same fucking thing over and over again. Your mind has told you the same story over and over again. You believed it at some point because it felt good, but then it dragged you back into this trap of like, oh no, you have to do it this way. And it's like, fuck that shit. Right? It's like, fuck it. My life is going to shit. And like, I've been following you all this time. You've been telling me, right, that everything is going to work out, and yet everything is not working out, and I've done so much work for myself. If anything, I'm in this endless loop of fucking psychoanalysis, thinking that I should be a certain way, thinking that there's a thing in the future that I need to reach for, when I don't give a fuck, because it's not fucking working out. What's the point of doing all of this self-analysis if it doesn't fucking work out for you, if you're still trapped in the same fucking piece of shit place, like, slowly, like, withering away, you know, with no friends, with no support, with no one to listen to your ideas, you know, feeling every day that you can't have things, you know, because, like, your mind is like, oh no, you can't have that yet. No, that's not a good investment. It's like, fuck you. You're not the boss of me. No, stop fucking telling me what to do. I've been listening to you all this time. I've been listening to you. That didn't work out. You tried to... You came up with something else. And then I tried that for a while. And it gave me this hope. But, you know, I can't describe to you the feeling. Only those of you who are on the path can know this feeling. The feeling of being shown by life, like, all of these possibilities, only to then have them fucking snatched away from you, realizing that you're not anywhere, like, you're not making any fucking progress. You're still kind of like whistling in the dark, you know, hoping that someone will hear your tune. It's like, man, yeah. And this entry isn't as angry as I thought it'd be. I thought I'd be really fucking angry, but, like, I let a lot of this fucking anger out already before, because, like I said, I do these podcasts where I talk to myself and I let the feelings out. But, you know, like, the message that I want to give to you in this video is, like, you know, like, sometimes you just gotta let it out, right? Because the mind, it tells us these things. This sounds really kind of like far-fetched, right, to the average person. But you think about it, all of your beliefs, all of your fucking, you know, all of who that you think you are, all that you think that you should do, all the way that you should behave in front of people in order to gain their favor and to get somewhere. Try doing that shit for a while and see where it leads you. It leads you fucking nowhere. You're back to fucking square one. All it made you was, like, feel like you're trapped. And I know all of you know the feeling of being fucking trapped. And, like, sometimes, like, the body, the heart, it just wants to get out there, you know? It doesn't want to fucking, like, listen to your fucking bullshit stories anymore. It doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do anymore. It wants to express itself, you know? Oh, it wants to eat fucking sushi when it wants to eat fucking sushi. It wants to have sex when it wants to have sex, right? You know? It wants to do what it wants to do, you know? And it's... yeah. This is kind of also how I feel. I'm just like... I don't know what the fuck right now. And, you know, I've been telling myself that like, you know, that's okay, but maybe it's not okay. You know? And anyway, I'm kind of running out of juice here. I thought I'd be really kind of in your face in this video, but, like, really, honestly, the message for this video was sounded so eloquent in my head as well. Is, you know, if you feel trapped, you gotta let it out. No matter who the fuck is listening. And for sure, don't fall into the trap of judging yourself for like however you feel, because at some point that shit's gonna come up, right? That shit's gonna come up and you're going to, like, fucking get angry, and eventually you keep suppressing that shit and it's gonna keep coming up, right? The body, right, is your vessel, right? The mind tries to... It is seductive, the mind, right? It makes you believe, it makes you buy into its stories. It makes you think that, like, things can be different, right? And they can be, right? I'm, like, again, my energy is very strong in this entry, and I'm making it seem as though, you know, the mind is a bad thing, the mind is there to enslave us. And that, too, you know, that is true. But at the same time, I'm not slating it, right? But, you know, yeah, it's just, a lot of the times, you know, that's my fucking message. I've basically shat all over this video. I went into this, like, just thinking, you know, I'll just be angry, you know, I'll just express myself. I ran out of juice a bit, but, you know, just, if it's not okay, it's not okay, you know. Just stop suppressing. Let that primalness come out. You know, because it wants to come out. You know, you can't keep suppressing it. Yeah, anyway. There's probably some other stuff. There was some other stuff that I had in my head that I wanted to talk about. Notice my kind of energy right now. You know, I did, portray a bit of anger earlier, but then once the anger's gone, then, what is left is tenderness. You feel empty. The fact that I'm broadcasting this out into the world, because I could have kept this to myself, but I wanted to broadcast it to the world. And hopefully there'll be more of this to come. This is kind of cool. I wanted to... the main reason I started these entries was to show you that, like, you can express yourself. You don't have to keep suppressing your feelings, because that's going to kill you, and it's never going to lead you to, like, the peace that you so desperately crave. But in this entry, as an example, like, I'm showing you, I'm not just telling you anymore, I'm showing you that you can express, and through that expression you can then be at peace. Don't be a mind slave. I was going to be like, don't be a fucking mind slave, but my energy's gone now. I can't. As much as I try to, like, make myself angry, I can't right now. That's just the way the energy works. It comes and it goes. Maybe I should have done this entry earlier when I was actually angry. It would have been, like, fucking amazing, but yeah, and my battery's about to run out, so, like, I'm going to end this here. Yeah, until next time, maybe you'll have a more coherent video. But, I want to do more of these videos because, it's showing you that you can let go. It's showing you that you can be as unsavory, as fucking vulgar as you want. And it's not aimed at hurting anyone. It's just expressing yourself because, your mind, suppresses that shit. It's just the way that we've come to live. And it's making us really unhappy, That's my message. Tapping into your sensitivity. It will lead to your happiness. But you have to do it, right? So cool. This is Bo out. I hope that was helpful. I hope my energy came across well. Hope I didn't offend anyone. And as always, catch you in the next entry. Peace.